we have a new Mardu commander, or more specifically a new Alesha who smiles at death. So this is Terra, Herald of Hope, and she literally does everything Alesha who smiles at death does, but just one step better, without any downsides to it either. Or, well, sure, she's harder to cast, as Alesha can be cast by Mountain and Soldering, while this requires 3 color different pips. But then she's easier to activate. A short, fast, we don't usually do that here, but a fast, short tutorial on her lore. She's actually the first character you play in Final Fantasy VI, my second most favorite Final Fantasy game. 7 is the best. She's not the main character because Final Fantasy VI doesn't have a main character. They have 20 characters and they could all be considered, or well, they're like 4 characters in the story that are kind of the main characters. You could potentially say like 6 characters could be viewed as the main characters, and she's definitely one among them. For someone who doesn't actually know Final Fantasy VI lore, she might look a little bit strange because like Wizard Warrior sounds weird, but trust me, it's quite on point. She is a murder machine, you could say. If I remember correct, it was such a long time ago since I actually played this, but human on her might be incorrect, because she's almost an alien. She's definitely a centerpiece of the story. You could say that she's something of a main character, but she doesn't like take the role of the protagonist. However, she's a heavy magician and she's a warrior, you could definitely say. Like, she's sent into war to literally destroy stuff. Her first ability is Trance, which is a ability she has in the game where she morphs into her alien form, you could say, I guess. I'm certain there's gonna be someone correcting me on what she truly is, but I wouldn't say that she's like on point human. In any case, back to the real focus of this video, magic and a card review for this new commander. So at the beginning of the combat on your turn, mill 2 cards and she gains flying, which is perfect because now we come to the next part. Whenever Terra deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2. When you do, return target creature card with power 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Which basically makes her into a reanimator commander that is very good at continuously reanimate very cheap stuff. But she's also milling cards herself, so she's going to fuel her own graveyard. You could almost see it as you're increasing your hand size, as this commander is going to operate with graveyard like if it was your hand. A problem Alesha had was that the creature she reanimated was also sent into attacking. This commander doesn't have that problem, because usually what happens is that Alesha gets through because she has first strike, or you equip her with some cool tools, but then the creature she reanimates is also attacking and ends up being blocked and killed. This commander doesn't have that problem. So how good is this commander actually? As a finalized review, my final verdict is gonna have to be that she's going to be struggling. I don't think she's gonna be good in tournaments in the cEDH competitive highest possible tournament environment. I've actually played a lot of Alesha. I really like Alesha who smiles at death. It's a cool commander, it's a cool concept, and I like the part where you're like attacking and rebuilding your board state by reanimating your creatures. So don't get me wrong when I want this to be good. By the way, I'm a huge fan of Terra. I think she was my second most favorite character in the Final Fantasy VI. If in case you're wondering, my favorite character is actually Go, the Mowgli wild boy that they pick up in the jungle. But in any case, my point is that a big problem with Alesha is that you're reanimating 1 creature per turn cycle, and that is a little bit too weak if you're trying to like swarm your enemy with a lot of stuff. The usual pathway you're building here is like some form of stacks, creature-oriented sacrificial loop strategy, where you're trying to interact with your opponents by creating stacks creatures, and you can use this commander to rebuild that board state, and you can also use this commander to rebuild your creature combo, so to say. But I found it to be a little bit too slow, And a big problem in cEDH is that the turn count is rather low. You don't get to attack to generate as many potential triggers as you want. So just like how Alesha never really got off the ground, I don't think this is going to do that either. However, in lower power levels, she should be better, because the lower power level you go, the more turns you have and the more you can utilize this concept. And this is a good concept. I mean, reanimating Ranger Captain of Eos over and over is rather cool. Reanimating a Daffy Voidwalker over and over is also pretty amazing. There's truly a lot of things I really like about her, like she comes into play quite early in the game with a Chromox. You have her in turn 2, which means that on turn 3 you can attack. You're probably going to mill, so there's a huge chance you might be lucky and mill a creature or 2 into your grave. That means on turn 3 you might be able to pay the 2 to reanimate something from the grave. So once again, I really like her. I think it's a cool card, but I have so much experience playing Alesha that I already know it's not going to really work out in a cEDH tournament environment. In any case, thank you so much for watching this short cEDH card review. And I have a feeling we're going to be making a lot more, because Final Fantasy has a very special place in my heart, and they have an enormous amount of characters. So we will be back with more cEDH card reviews pretty soon, I think. In any case, take care guys, and I'll see you in the next one.